Love this podcast? Support this show through the Acast supporter feature. It's up to you how much you give, and there's no regular commitment. Just hit the link in the show description to support now.
Welcome to the Apollo Audio Podcast.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, I'm Martin Lumsden, producer and engineer, and I'm with, as always, introduce yourself.
Billy Hills. How we doing? First time we got it right this week.
Billy Hills, because I always wonder if you're actually going to say it when I say it. And I'm joined by...
Yeah,
Pause.
delay. Yeah, insert here.
I have to read it.
And I'm actually Billy. I'm not William. I'm actually.
You are a Billy.
I
did not know that.
Billy. Yeah.
You're an actual Billy. That's good.
Partly because of it would be William Hill at the bookies.
Yeah.
And potential other names. I was going to be called Dan, but I don't think that would suit me.
No.
Barney.
Maybe.
I'd like that. Or
Yeah.
Blue. Blue Hills.
Blue.
I think Blue's quite cool.
Oh,
I like
okay.
Barney.
You'd have beaten Jay-Z and Beyonce to that then.
Yeah. I'm the equivalent. I'm Hertford's Beyonce.
Is that cultural appropriation? What have you been up to, Billy?
I've been up to it's busy with studio. A really busy night at the studio last night. We had 6 bands in. It was just really vibey again last night. Really, really cool to just be here and hang out.
Yeah.
I was teaching Dean the other day. One of my favourite students, Dean.
Yeah.
I say that about all of them.
You're my favourite.
Yeah.
Bruce, who used to say that? Was it Bruce Forsyth?
Yeah.
You're my favourite.
And Dean was saying, what I miss about this place is just like the vibe of it. And like someone just walked in during his lesson and asked what guitar he was playing.
Oh, nice.
And it was just like, it was a Peter Greeny guitar. And like you sort of chat about music for a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Of someone he's never met before. But it's all just like, he said, if this ever like didn't become a thing anymore, I said, that's what I'd miss the most. Just like the chats with people and like relationship you make on the fly. You see someone, you know you're going to have the same interest because you're in a music studio.
Yeah.
You all got love of music. He said, that's what I'd miss the most about this place.
You build a community. It's lovely. I came in the other day and one of the bands that we're talking to about recording, guy from one of the bands came in whilst I was knocking about. He went, Martin!
Yeah.
I was like, I've never met him before. That was great.
Yeah.
I love it.
What else is new? We've got some new leather chairs on reception, new stools.
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful.
Oh, good. That's a step up. 5 years of making them. Got new...
Oh, you made them yourself?
Yeah. Oh, my dad actually re-leathered them for me.
Oh, nice.
They've been in the Hills family house for a while. Some amps fit last week by our resident guitar man, Joel.
Yeah.
Me and Mark have been talking about getting some new recording equipment soon. Everyone messaged, tell Martin he needs to get the new microphone that he's been talking about. And press him to get it.
Encouraged to spend my money.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a good plan.
Yeah.
We've got some new sessions started as well. I'm really excited. We've got some really cool new projects starting up soon as well. So alongside the ones that are ongoing.
Yes. Have you ever seen a band fall out in the studio?
Have I? I've got a vague memory of a band that were basically, whilst the bass player was recording, they were discussing firing him.
God. That's amazing. Well, when you think you've paid money to come to the studio, you think you've learnt your songs enough that you shouldn't really argue about it. You might argue about production ideas and bits, but like the actual parts of the song, they're sort of set in stone, aren't they?
You'd think so. I did have a session where the band realised halfway through recording that they hadn't written the middle part of the song yet.
That's insane.
I know. They got to the point where we haven't figured this bit out yet, so they then spent an hour just trying to figure out how it was supposed to go.
Were they just doing one song, was that like an album?
I think so. Can't remember. I think so. But yeah, I do remember that
That's
bit of it. It was like, so we're going to have to figure this out. So, okay, it's your time.
Easy money for you,
You're paying. But that did seem a bit odd. But, you must have had experience of people show up without instruments as well. That's happened.
Yeah.
I had a band where the bass player showed up and didn't bring a bass. So I didn't know I needed one. Fortunately, I had one. I mean, we do in the studio. We've got stuff, but you kind of think I'd expect you to have at least mentioned that you weren't going to bring one.
Yeah. All the producers I've talked with, then you'd be the same when you talk to bands coming forward. Just like make sure you're tight before you record. Yeah. Like you just want to. If you've got 2 days to record one song, that sounds like a lot. It's not. You don't want to speed past stuff, but you don't want to spend any more time on stuff than you need to. Because the worst thing is like, I've got to come back and do a bit of vocals.
Yeah.
When if you was tighter, you could have done it all.
If you know what you're going to play before you start recording, then you'll know if you've done it. There's nothing wrong with experimenting, but don't experiment whilst you're doing it. Like, I know what I'm going to play it, and then you go, right, I did it. Right, now we've got it down. Do we want to change it? Do we want to enhance it? Do we want to elaborate on it?
Yeah.
But you've got it down. But if you're kind of making stuff up, like solos, let's say, are a good example. I've got a guitar solo going here. All right, what are you going to play? I don't know yet. I'll figure it out. So you end up doing multiple takes of stuff. Yeah. Sometimes that works, but sometimes you just get nowhere because you don't really know if it's, is that right? I don't know. I just made it up on the spot. So I'm trying to say to bands, what do you normally play? Play that first. Yeah. Do that. The solo that you play on stage, do that. And even then, you're like, I'll just make it up. I suppose that's fine, but it's really a lot easier if you know what you're going to do.
Definitely.
Before you start, and it's amazing how many times that isn't.
Before we go to studio, I get a spreadsheet ready. It's like what the bass tone I want to sound like, what effect I want on there.
Yeah.
Like minute 33, what's happening there? Production wise, I want a bit of echo there. Like I want a drone there. That's what you should be thinking. You shouldn't have to have those thoughts after. And you do get inspiration when you're in the studio. Yeah. Like you do feel like more creative. But the genesis of the idea have got comes from somewhere beforehand as well, and like melodies and harmonies. Even if you're not doing it live to recording, is so different. Like you do so much more stuff on the album than you would do live.
Yeah,
because you can have 8 guitars playing at once. Depends what sort of band you want to be. If you want to be raw, then you wouldn't do it. But you're going to add more production elements, and you should be thinking about that beforehand, shouldn't you?
Yeah, I think so. Like you said, you can add things, and a good producer will work with you as well. So like, well, this is a good idea, or I'm not sure that's working, let's try something else, or I've just had an idea for a different sound. But like I said, the basics of it should be, this is what I want to sound like. Bands often say to me, should I bring my own gear? My answer is always yes, because at least we've got a starting point then. Because otherwise, what we inevitably might end up doing is trying to replicate the sound that you could have had straight away anyway. So I don't like that sound. I want it to sound like how I sound. Right? You should have brought your own stuff then. Yeah. Change it later. Yeah. Have a different idea. But like I said, the basics of this are know the foundations, and then work from there. But equally, working as a producer, a lot of this I'll do in pre-production before we start recording as well. There's nothing wrong with having that discussion with the producer before you get in. Be tight, be rehearsed, all that kind of stuff, but create some basic demos, and I'll have a conversation with any band. If we're going to start working on something, I'm really happy to have discussions with people before we start tracking. Yeah. To go, right, what else might we do, or are there any areas that we want to fix before we get going? Yeah. Are there any bits that we feel like that's not completely working, or bits to really focus on? You don't have to have that conversation after the clock starts.
I think demoing is really important. It's something we've done with Body a lot more. Like, we'll have our band practice one day a week, and then me and Harry will write and demo into Logic or whatever. Yeah. And just so we can sort of hear it, and you get ideas like tones and that as well. Yeah. We want to do, and then you send that to your producer, so we get to know what microphone to use, or like what sort of setup he wants to do. So I think that's really important.
The demo might sound almost exactly like how you want the finished record to sound. There's nothing wrong with that. But what you're going to do is nail down the performance of it, maybe use some better gear, maybe use some better technology, all that kind of stuff. Just get a little bit of coaching. But it's not like, I think when people say, there's a demo, that just means, it's just going to be an acoustic guitar and a vocal, and that's the demo. It doesn't need to be that. It can be, I've programmed some drums in because this is what I want the drums to be like. This is where the changes are. This is where the bits are. This is the guitar parts that I want to put on here. So I've tracked them down through my little interface. But when we get in the studio, we'll do it through the amps. We'll play it loud. We'll double track it. All that kind of stuff. I think sometimes that's misunderstood as well in terms of what a demo is. Yeah. Doesn't just need to be a rough copy. Yeah. If you go back through the history of recording music, it's rare that that's what a demo is. A demo was generally a kind of, this is the rough draft of what we want to do. We're going to make a better version of this.
Like pre-production, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that there is a process. That's the real key to it. I found this quote online. Sadly, I really can't remember who wrote it, but I thought I should have taken a note of the person. I feel guilty for not taking a note of the person, but I think this was on Instagram somewhere. It said, art is about process more than outcome. Making art is messy, hard, it can take a lifetime of study, but because of that, it's life-affirming. It leads to growth and builds confidence. It facilitates human connection and gives us a sense of accomplishment. The outcome of producing art is always up in the air, but the process is what really matters. Hold the process as invaluable and not pretend that if we allow AI to fast forward through it for us, it will hold some meaning or power. I thought, yeah, that's right. We talked about that last week, didn't you? About putting the effort in. It's just, I've made a song, it was easy. Well, that's not the point.
No,
being easy is not the point.
Everywhere. Though I don't know if it's our phones listening to us, but they've been all over Facebook, and it's like advertising. Let's like make music fast and easy. It's like that is not the point of music. I had a piano lesson earlier, and it's the hardest thing in the world at first learning an instrument. But it's the payoff you get out of it. It's like learning anything. If you want to be good at football, it takes years. And like, why should music be an exception?
Yeah. It's the payoff from the bit of I'm getting slightly better.
Yeah,
the payoff, like I said, that was great about the process. The other thing that it said here, the thing I love most about being an artist is caring deeply about the things I do, even if no one else will ever hear, see, or experience it. It's the hours spent on it just for the love of it, or the care put into a piano improvisation even if there's no one else around to hear it. These principles share one thing. The care that we put into our lives and the work we produce, making sure we remember the simple joy of doing things.
Yeah, and I think that's like, again, well, I know we've been talking about music, about recording and how that's for everyone, but if you're putting a song in on Suno or whatever, just make a song to put out there, there's no joy in that. The joy is sitting down while just playing the guitar for an hour while no one else is listening and just having that creative outlet.
Yeah.
And that no one else is going to hear that. But that was you for an hour, just vibing and jamming, and you might not use that idea again. I went through a bit of a patch. It's like every time I picked up the guitar, I was like, I need to write something. Yeah. I enjoyed it so much more when I just like played and just jammed, and there was no purpose to it, and it was just like being free and just flowing. You're not going to get that out of AI. Yeah. AI can't do that.
No. Yeah, no fun. Yeah, and the joy of doing that with your mates as well, if you're in a band. Getting together, having just that. Yeah, that's what are the things that I remember most about being in a band? Sure, we wrote some songs, we did some stuff, but the thing is, it was great fun being in a band.
Yeah,
we never had any hits, but it's great being in a band, and we wrote some songs, and we've still got those. Songs. We've still got those songs.
Yeah,
but that was kind of the point of it. So it's all about the joy and the process. So it's really hard to guarantee, and the thing, even it doesn't matter who you work with. We were talking about this earlier, wasn't it? It doesn't matter who you work with, what gear you use, where you are, all of that kind of stuff. If you think that there's a way of guaranteeing a hit, you're miles off. No. There is no way of guaranteeing a hit. What you can do is put the effort into the process. Make the best thing that you can. Because if there's anything that's going to help you get a hit, it's make the best thing that you can. Put the effort in, do the right moves. The process is what makes it count. If you think you're going to have a hit, I mean, maybe someone will have a hit off an AI-generated song, but who will that someone be? Will that someone even be a real person?
And I do think the general consensus is like, especially what I've seen on Facebook and then like the comments back, people don't like it. Even like AI-generated videos or photos just for content, and like there's been backlash against it, which I think is good. And the way like in the last couple of years how realistic it's got, and it's got too big too soon. It's like 2 years, and it's like seems to be everywhere already.
It does feel like the tide is turning a bit, I think. I think people are starting to get a bit sick of it. Let's talk about some real stuff, shall we? Some real, honest to God music.
Yes, let's do it. Martin got the choice this week of the album, and I was very pleasantly surprised. So who introduced you to it?
So I had a conversation, partly generated by the fact that I was working with Sonny, who we know from Blitz the Kazi, hardcore band, and he was doing some drumming for another band, this Hertz.
They played the studio a couple of times.
So he wanted to track some drums for this band, so I knew we were going to be doing some sort of, genre-based drum tracking stuff that I've done a bit of before, but not loads. I was mentioning this to a guy that I'm on we have a forum, the Global Producers
an internet friend
forum, an internet friend.
Is he real?
But I speak to people in the UK. There's people over in Seattle in the US and various other places. So we have this little online group, and we talk about various stuff that's going on. And I'd mentioned this, and I think I might have said it on the podcast last week as well. He was saying about the production techniques that people are using for drums, and just off the back of that, he said, "Oh, you should listen to this band, Refused." What are they, Swedish? punk band from the sort of mid to late 90s, I think. So I hadn't heard of them before. And he said, no, you've got to check out this album, The Shape of Punk to Come. Because it definitely worked. And I'd mentioned it to you, and you went, shall we do it?
Yeah.
You'd heard of Refused before, right?
Yes. So
I had not at all. Okay. Completely new to me.
So if you go, like, again, it comes back to this a lot. In the late 90s, watching Kerrang! In like the mid-noughties, New Noise was constantly on rotation.
Right.
I think that's the lead single off the album, their most famous song.
Yeah.
So I knew that. And I've added it onto a playlist years ago of like albums I want to listen to.
Yeah.
I never got round to it. And listen back to it. This is like what we've talked about, like, does this vinyl? I know we usually get to the end, but this is an album. This is like it flows seamlessly. It's not just a selection of songs. They've put so much thought into the transitions in the songs. They've got techno elements. They've got... And I just love that. I probably liked the thought of the album more than the actual songs themselves. Does that make sense? Like, I love the time that's gone into it. The way, like, it's not just straight up. Because, to be honest, like, the straight up punky stuff is not always a bit of me. Like, it was, like, a bit too... It wasn't melodic enough in places. Like, the vocals. Sometimes I need a bit of... I love the shouting stuff, but I need a break from that sometimes.
Yeah.
The break was with the techno and like the stuff in between. Yeah. I don't want to be shouted at for another hour again.
I was thinking that. That's what because that was basically what we said last week when I'm listening to vinyl. I don't want to be shouted at for an hour. And I started listening to this album and went, oh, here we are being shouted at.
But yeah, again, I think it made it such a better listen. The fact they've really gone in on the samples. And I've always thought when I want to do probably around album 3 territory.
Yeah.
Around that. You can't do that on the first album. Yeah. Get the samples in, make it flow, make it more of like a concept sort of thing. Like they've spent their time developing the songs, but the production on it, like track 2, it sounds like it's recording another Room Festival, and then the chorus comes in and it all sort of like hits. It's like, that's so cool. Like it's probably one of the best produced albums, especially for 1998. It doesn't sound like it's recorded then at all, does it?
I don't think so.
It still stands up to today.
Yeah.
Well, do you know where it was recorded or who by?
I think it was in Sweden. And, I mean, I know they ended up working with Shellback, who's very much a... I mean, this is more sort of a few years later, but he's very much a sort of in vogue current producer, Swedish guy, but he's worked with all sorts of big, the big sort of pop names. I guess you can kind of see that. I don't know the names of the producers, and I can't remember the names of the producers off the top of my head. But I love everything that you're saying about this, because it's exactly how I feel about it as well. So I had no knowledge of this, and I suppose I approached it tentatively, and I approached it with curiosity because of the way it had been recommended to me, and I was like listening because of doing a job that I had coming up, so I was wanting to listen to all right, how's this been recorded, what's the sort of sound that's going on here, because that's why I'd been pointed to it. And yeah, everything that you've said, I think I would probably replicate right from track 1, which is, like you said, hardcore shouting. There was something about it that I went, this is interesting.
I think you might like it because you liked In Utero, and when we did In Utero, you said it was one of your favourite albums that you listened to.
Yeah.
And I thought it's a bit of a rogue shout from you because you don't usually like your heavy stuff as much as me, but I thought there's something about this that is still going to be a bit of you as well.
Yeah. I think it's interesting because I suppose even if I was describing myself, sort of 90s indie is where I'm. Yeah. Where I'm most attracted to that music. I do love pop music. I'll listen to anything, Taylor Swift, Sabrina Carpenter, the Spice Girls, all that kind of stuff. I can totally get into that and enjoy it. Radiohead, one of my favourite bands. Nirvana were always one of my favourite bands, that kind of thing. And I was much more into that sort of Nirvana grunge style music. I suppose it's a bit punk influenced, but more so than, say, something like Pearl Jam, who were kind of lumped into the same... genre for a little while because they're from the same sort of area. I suppose different style, but I could never really get into something.
I'm a big Pearl Jam fan.
Could never really get into something like that. And I think as a comparison to, say, Audioslave that we covered last week, I could appreciate that album without really enjoying it.
Yeah.
And I suppose the interesting thing that I would say about this album I don't know if I would ever really want to listen to this loads. I don't know that in 5 years' time I'll still be wanting to go back to this and listen to it again. But my God, I enjoyed this album. This is a great record. I mean, I want to say it that way. Yeah. I don't know about the genre. I don't know that I love the genre. I don't know that I'm like wanting to listen to anything else by this band. Yeah. But what a great record.
You can feel the energy, can't you?
It's a great record. Yeah. It's been so well produced. Yeah. And I don't know how people hear that in terms of what do you mean by well produced. I do mean that. I don't mean like it's polished. Don't mean that at all. I just mean the choices that are made, the way that it comes together as a cohesive whole. It's just fabulous.
You feel like you have to listen to it from beginning to end. I can't imagine like skipping to track 4.
Yeah.
You feel like you're going on the journey. And I love the way it ends as well, like how the later tracks. It's like the German naming one. It goes completely
it's got
different.
Violins in it.
Yeah. That's so cool. And I was talking about getting like shouted at for like, that's what I was after. And it does give you the breaks when it's needed.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool. And the more I listen, the more I appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's great. Liberation Frequency, which is track 2.
Yeah.
I love that track.
Yeah. That's the one with the drums.
That's got such a great vibe. Yeah. But there's so many interesting things going on in this. Within its, take all those sort of interludes out and take all that sort of production choice out, I suppose. What you're left with is being shouted at. Like really loud guitars, a lot of shouting. I don't know if I would get into that, but they're clearly thinking about what they're doing to a much greater degree than that, which is, and I was listening to, I think I mentioned again last week, I was listening to this podcast, an audiobook about the making of Abbey Road by the Beatles, and how the installation of a new solid-state console had made a big difference. The sound of Abbey Road is very different to any other Beatles album because they were using new technology. In the context of that, they were talking about the way that the Beatles would work. And sorry to reframe this back to the Beatles again, as if they're the makers of all things, but they kind of are. In the Abbey Road, if you know that album, there's what they called the long one, or this big medley section, which is on side 2, which is lots of bits of songs that they had left over, which they basically patched together all in one. And within that, there was a song called Her Majesty, and it was in the middle of this medley, and they'd listened back to a sort of pre-mix of it and went, doesn't work, get rid of it, let's just chuck it. So the engineer had, because it's all on tape, right, so he cuts the tape, gets rid of it, but he said, I always remembered, I'd always been told, never throw anything away. Yeah. Even if like McCartney or whatever had said, nah, just delete it, remove it, blah, blah, blah. He said, I didn't do that. So what he did was, he put he cut a bit of extra tape, about 12, 14 seconds or something of tape, onto and attached it to the end.
Oh, cool.
So that the whole medley thing plays right through to the end, and then you've got this whole like orchestral big thing. It's the most amazing. Yeah. When you think back, you think, did they mean this? Of course they didn't. It just happened. Yeah. It's got this amazing orchestral thing, and in the end, the love you give is equal to the love you make. Yeah. And it's like the perfect ending to the Beatles recording catalogue. 14 seconds later, this acoustic guitar vocal thing comes on called Her Majesty. It's not supposed to be there. It's only there because the engineer went, I'm not going to throw it away, I'll attach it on the end.
Oh, cool.
And McCartney listened back to it and went, that's cool.
Yeah.
And the thing I'm saying about this, what I love about bringing it back to the shape of Punk to Come, why are you talking about this, Martin, you arsehole?
I'm lost.
The point of this is that he said what the Beatles loved doing was wrong-footing people.
Yeah.
Like, you think you know what you're going to get, and then it changes to something different, and they go like, oh, that's... Because people will think they know what we're doing, and then we'll do this thing that'll go, oh, I didn't expect that. Yeah. And it's like that so much in this album, that there's a thing that's going on, and you think, either initially, I didn't expect that, but then that thing's happening, then something else happens, you go, shit, I didn't expect that.
That's what I love about metal, and people say it all sounds the same, but I hate the predictability of melodies and structure and stuff like that. Like, you always know when you listen to, and again, it's not me slating pop music, but when you listen to loads of music and you're obsessed with it, you sort of can gauge. It's like when film producers, they ruin films themselves because they watch where the lighting is and stuff like that. They know what that sort of shot's going to be.
Or they know the story points.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
With the same music, you know what the next melody's going to come up to. You know it's going to be a bridge next. In this sort of genre, it goes to a techno beat. It's like out of nowhere. It's like, yes, that's what I want. I want to be wrong-footed, and I want to be... There's a sudden breakdown there. That's what I want. I want to be surprised. I want to have that. I don't like the predictability of verse chorus structure.
Yeah,
so
or
cool.
this chorus section that comes in, and you go like, "Is this the same?" This orchestral section, violins and stuff that comes in on that like say that track towards the end of the album. They literally, do you think, is this the same album?
I thought I was on album 2 or whatever. I checked my phone because it just does
as it just done continuous play. I thought the same thing. I thought, oh, was that the end of the album and this has gone somewhere else? No, it's another. And it is the same thing. And then of course it is the same thing because.
But it works though.
It works.
It does work.
It's so cool. I also want to be grateful for the fact that they gave a shout out to us on the last track.
Yes,
that was a bit of a coincidence. The last track on this album was called "The Apollo Program Was a Hoax."
Yeah.
But we get a little shout. I think that's the first time Apollo's been mentioned in an album.
I'd love to see who samples. Like, where do they find the samples? Is that an engineer's job? Is that the band's job? Because that is an art in itself. And how like DJ? Do they have a DJ to like write this album? Like,
or are they? I mean, some of these, because we know we've talked on this before about Massive Attack. I think we're a good example of that. That they record their own samples. And then sample them. So they're recording the material so that they can sample it, which feels like a weird thing to say. But I wonder if it's something similar to that in this example as well. It's not kind of always sourced something from somewhere. Or we wanted this thing, so we recorded it and then added it in.
There's even a bit where he's like playing the drums at an end of a song, like on the bell, like boom, da 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 da. And you think it's just like a random bit, and then they bring it again at the end of the song. Like, wow, so that wasn't just a bit you left in because it sounded cool. You've actually spent time about, it's like a little motif you brought back in. So it was really, really
I wonder,
cool.
just because I'm thinking about this sort of laterally, I wonder if they did do their own samples on this, because when I think about, say, De La Soul, 3 foot tall and rising, isn't it? That was not on streaming platforms for years and years and years and years, and that's because they couldn't clear the samples that were on it. So they'd had agreement that they could be used on the original recordings. But when it came to releasing on digital platforms, they didn't have any clearance for that. So they had to renegotiate everything in order to get it onto, finally get it onto streaming platforms. And because, I mean, maybe it's, no, is it recorded later? When was 3 Foot High and Rising? It was probably early 90s, wasn't it? So it's a bit later than that.
Did we do that on the podcast?
We did. But because it's there, I wonder whether either they were able to clear them because they knew it was going to go on to... But this is still pre-streaming age, though. Long before streaming age. So I wonder whether that sort of is an indicator that it probably was their own stuff.
I think so, rather than being... When I say samples, I mean like the stuff at the end of the bit where they're like sort of like talking and the radio, stuff like that. I can imagine they've clipped that from somewhere, but then the actual like techno stuff, I imagine that's written by an actual like. So I don't know if you need clearance for other sort of talky sort of stuff, but
I said only if they didn't record it themselves.
Exactly.
Which they made, this is what we want, and we've recorded
themselves.
it might be that, but I don't know the answer, and it's interesting because it is all put together. There is some lovely bits like, now we're going to have a bit from the rhythm section.
I thought it was really cool.
All those bits and pieces. I just really enjoyed listening to this album. I said, I don't know, Refused are not going to go in my kind of favourite albums, favourite artists of all time. I'm not going to rush off and buy it in the same way that I did with Grace by Jeff Buckley. But like I said, what a great record. This is such an example of whatever you... if you're interested in the process of production and what we were talking about, a record versus not a record, how do you make a record rather than a recording, if you like? The thought process that's gone into this, the sequencing of the album, like you said, can you shuffle this? Just wouldn't have the same effect, would it? Can you pick individual tracks out of it? Definitely. I said there's a couple of tracks on this that I really remember as really cool. Some with great names as well. Refused or Fucking Dead is a great great name for a song as well.
That New Noise was on The Bear. It was like it's sort of like like theme for it. Well, not a theme, but it's like a recurring like sort of song. So I think it got quite big recently again.
It's a really great indication of what a record is versus what a band is, if you like.
A bunch of songs, really cool. Nice. Really recommend it. And I think at vinyls, if I had to get a heavy album for vinyl, I'd get this one. Because, again, it's a journey. I think it's really cool.
It's not a massive seller.
Is it not?
Don't think so.
I think it's a cult sort of CD, isn't it?
Yeah, sort of cult album. It's so weird though, because I thought, is this one of those albums that's on the 500 greatest albums of all time list? And I honestly thought, should it be? Because in terms of what I've understood about its influence and the people that have recommended it and all that, I thought, this is the sort of album that's, as we've talked about before, the Rolling Stone 500 best albums of all time. This is never going to get on that list. It really should be on that list.
Yeah.
Really should be, I think.
Yeah, as I say, it's very American-centric, but they sound so American as well, and it's very...
They really do, yeah. The fact that you wouldn't go, Swedish.
Yeah.
In fact, there's none of the sort of Swedish pop era, the sort of Max Martin type thing, which is like Backstreet Boys and Britney Spears and all, which are amazing. But the sort of indicators of that Swedish production is, the sort of, these lyrics make no sense. Because they just go for sounds and they sort of work with a sort of mathematical methodology, which really works commercially and makes some great songs. But they are real sort of, that's a Swedish production. You can kind of hear it. This has got none of that.
I'm not just saying because they're Swedish, but the punk element, like the Hives, I can imagine they're around that same sort of that energy. They're still going. They're supporting My Chemical Romance at the moment around stadiums.
Yeah.
And they could sort of hear, there must have been like a punk thing in Sweden in the 90s, for bands like that. And there's a few others.
Well, a lot of those, like talking about Max Martin and various of those massive pop producers, that the biggest commercial successes of the last sort of 2 or 3 decades, a lot of their background is metal and rock. That's the bands that they were in, the music they were making before they started doing all that. That's where they came from.
Yeah.
Good reason for that.
Yeah, it's the best.
It's the best. It's the most interesting. Yeah. So I saw David, who made this recommendation to me. So I said that was a great shout, man. Yeah. Really got a lot from listening to this. Good recommendation. All right, go check this one out. It's such a hard recommendation because I think, is everyone going to enjoy this? There are definitely going to be people who put this on and go, no,
straight away. I think you've got to sit with it for a little bit, but you'll hear stuff that you will like.
For me, it's not even that. It's like if you're interested in the process of making a record and listening to the choices that are made, the way things are done, and how you put an album together.
Yes. Yeah.
Whether you like the actual genre or the music or not, listen from that perspective and go, I get it. That's what we're talking about. Cool, man. We done?
Yeah, all good.
Thank you for listening to the Apollo Audio Podcast. I've been Martin Lumsden. I've been with, as always, Billy Hills.
William Hill.
Thank you very much for listening. I think I just said that. You can find us on Instagram at Apollo Audio Podcast. You can email us apolloaudiopod@gmail.com. But more importantly, find out anything that you want to find about recording, rehearsal, tuition at apollo-audio.co.uk. Get in touch with us there. We'd love to hear from you.
Thank you all.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
You sure you forgive me?